24/7. Good evening. Good evening. Glad to be here. I normally do this in the morning on Saturdays. Uh, Had some change of plans, and I'm glad to be with you this evening to be sure I do my live podcast and talk about some uh, news and sports and how it relates to recruiting for you young ladies and young boys out there, young men out there um, playing your sport and you're looking to beef up your recruiting process. How many of you out there are hoping, um, as things are winding down, this academic year is winding down, and I know basketball seasons is winding down, and track season is moving forward. Baseball and softball are in full swing. Those would be and I know they're in some states like Florida. There's the girls' flag football that's going on, but like I said, right now the spring sports are baseball, softball, flag football in some states in the southeast for girls. Also, track and field, uh, boys and girls in high school, middle school, men and women, track and field in college. And you guys are finishing up basketball, men and women basketball, and boys and girls basketball. Hopefully, you guys finish strong. I know we're winding down and getting to the state championships, and all the playoff stuff is going on and happening, and a lot of excitement. Um, and some uh, athletes have signed letters of intent back in early February, and we're at the end of the month, end of February, and things are moving along right now in 2024, and we want to do more in 2024 with Coach Smith and Love the Game 24/7, right? So there's a lot happening, a lot of excitement, and for some of you young ladies and some men out there, as we wind down the year, you're gonna have to start doing some of your off-season training, and there's a lot of information coming through this podcast to help you talk about how to get bigger, stronger, and faster, right? And more agile in your sport. There's a lot of things we can talk about what you should be doing your all-season training. During the summer, you're going to be going to camps, summer camps for your sport at colleges to help showcase your talent uh, to the colleges, middle school, and high school students. And so you're trying to beef up, right? Who out there is still trying to find answers? Who out there is still looking for ways to improve their recruiting status, their recruiting um, opportunities? Who out there is really putting in the work that they need to put in and the sacrifices, all those different things, right? So there's a lot going on that you're going to have to be committed to help yourselves, parents. You're going to have to help your young student athlete, your young athlete learn to continue to be dedicated and committed to their uh, sport, to their training, to help them earn those scholarship opportunities that they feel they deserve. Continue to put in work that they need to put in to get better, to be better, and they can do it. And so I know you're excited for them, and so am I, as your viral coach, your online coach. And so I'm definitely excited for your young people, your young athletes, to help that dream come true. And so, I just like to know, just put a question in if you want. Whether I'm live on IG, YouTube, and Facebook. And I know some of you all have questions, and feel free sometimes to put a question in there. If I see it, I'll do my best to answer it on the chat, on the podcast. So don't be afraid to put a question in. But I know some of you out there are still questioning whether you have what it takes, or some of you out there wondering, like, man, when am I going to get some offers? I haven't gotten any offers yet, and I feel like I'm doing all that I know to do. And some things haven't popped off for me yet, young lady, young man. You're wondering and questioning whether you have the ability. And of course, we always got to be realistic. We always got to um, be sure we get opinions, from your coaches, and sometimes even outside of your coaches, your trainers. You don't want to just be paying someone money just to tell you what you want to hear, just so they can continue to I don't want anybody to give you any false hope. You got to be able to be realistic. You got to be able to look at video and look at what you're doing. I know we always talk about don't compare yourself, and in a lot of ways shouldn't, but then in some ways, if you want to get an idea, you want to compare yourself to not if I'm better than someone, but what do I need to work on to get better? I'm looking at some of these young ladies in their sport. It's in your sport. You want to compare and say, okay, do I look, you know, find someone that have your measurables and look and see um, how well they're playing and what they, maybe follow them and see what kind of work they put in. It's today. There's a lot of these, athletes out there, young athletes out there, are putting things out there of how you train, how you eat, how you work out, sharing some things. Um, and there's some, good athletes out there to follow who are being real and honest and genuine that you want to follow and telling you the truth. Um, and some things aren't always what it seems. However, a lot of it, is on you as an athlete to do all that you can. There's always going to be some things you got to work through. Okay, everything's not going to be easy. Okay, if something's always easy, then may not be worth having. Okay, and you always got to have to put some work in. You always there's sometimes going to be some adversity and things of that nature. You all as athletes should know that for how you train and how you prepare. Some of you guys have probably fought through some injuries and different things physically and mentally, and you come through because that's what sports has taught you. How to persevere, how to build relationships, and how to support one another. And hopefully, you're in a healthy program where you see that from the top to the bottom, and it's being exemplified by the coaching staff in your sport and in your athletic program where you are attending school and middle school or high school, and even some of you college athletes out there. So you have to be sure you continue to put the effort and make sure you got a healthy team of folks you supporting you, but also being honest and true with you. Appreciate you guys joining me on IG. I'm also on YouTube and Facebook, and just sharing and talking about what students out there asking themselves. Why haven't I gotten offers, or what is it that I'm missing? What is it that I still need to do? You're asking yourselves these questions. And just like I said, same story with my son when he was playing, and other young people that I've worked with that were looking for, offers at that level that they felt like they could play, right? And most of you, of course, looking to play Division 1 sports. Um, but like I said, Division 2 is not a bad way to go in these day and times right now because of some things that are happening right now with NIL and the transfer portal. Division 2 is becoming a new Division 1. Okay. And if you're good, if you're really good and you're trying and you're blessed to possibly go above the level of college professionally, if you're good enough, they'll find you. Okay. But guys have to be realistic as well because they expect you to test out in certain things, right? To prove um, that you love the game, right? And a lot of you young ladies and young men are going to find that out as you get recruited. When they're recruiting you, they want to know how committed you are to sport and being great. Okay, and don't get being great confused like everybody has to know you in the world. Everybody has no to the people in your sport. If I'm a lacrosse player, you know, um, do I have a name in that space? Right? Everybody around the world may not know you, but what about in the lacrosse world, in the hockey world? Do they know who you are? Right? In the soccer world, in that space, do they know who you are? Right? Or when you play against opponents, are they scheming to, hey, because you're that one of those players that they know that they have to be sure. that they when you're on the field, when you're on the pitch, when you're on the ice, all right, when you're on that basketball court, right, when you're in that relay for track and field, they're looking to see who are their uh, four young ladies on that 4x1 and that 4x4 that they got a plan for and strategize for. Are you that uh, young boy? Are you that young lady? Okay. Um, so when you get recruited, they want to know how committed you are to being great in your space, in your sport, and what are you committed to? So you're asking yourselves these questions. And like I said, I had my own son and other young men that I coached in football and track. Everybody asks themselves that question, at the onset of their recruiting. But you have things that you have to do, not just on your in your sport, but off the court or off the field that you have to do. Right? You got to do, as I've said in other podcasts, you got to do your research. But I want to share with you about something I heard this week on Club Shay Shay, um, Uncle Shannon Sharp. We call him Unc, and I don't know if some of you guys take time to listen to that, but if not you, your parents definitely need to take time out and listen to different things to help um, gain some insight on what they need to teach their young son or young daughter who they feel is committed to their sport and has the opportunity to play the next level at the college level, at some level, and get a scholarship. So parents, if you're out there listening to this live or the recording, when I put it out on YouTube and TikTok and IG, I usually put some shorts out there, but I also put the link out there for you to go and see the um, full message and not just a piece of the message. But I hope you see the short in the short that I put out there that it gets your attention of uh, of a message that came out of that full message that I shared, and that it draws you to go listen to the full message, the full tonight this full message that I'm sharing tonight, and from my other um, podcasts and discussions on different topics of keys to success, steps to success, all those different topics, how to be successful in your sport, the things that you need to do. So there's always, uh, YouTube that you can go out there and be sure you subscribe to Coach on YouTube at Love the Game 24/7. Also on, uh, follow me on Instagram, Love the Game 24_7 on Instagram. Parents, you can follow me on Facebook, uh, Coach Smith or Jeffrey Smith. Love the Game 24/7. You can find me. So go out and listen to those full messages, parents. So that way you can gain something, some insight on what you need to do to help give your student, your young person, that edge or that understanding on what they need to do and teach them about being committed and ask them, are you really committed? And if you are, these are some things that Coach Smith on Love the Game 24/7 has been sharing on his podcast that mom and dad have been listening to, and you need to go out and listen to this video, and you need to um, be sure you take notes on what Coach is saying because he has that experience himself as well as coaching young men and young ladies in track and field and young men in football. And the concepts that I teach is for any sport to be recruited at any sport for the college level. And so if you still have these questions and things of that nature, just get on, follow me, subscribe to me on YouTube, follow me on IG. Okay. Get in this 10-week digital course that I've been sharing that you should get in on, and you should be sharing and getting this information to other people about this 10-week digital course that you're going to have me live personally for 10 weeks to go through the steps to help you improve your recruiting opportunities. That's what I'm all about. And right now we have a 30% discount right now available to you can get the 10-week digital course and get what you need, guys, young ladies, young men, parents, to help your young person. And I'll talk more about that near the end. But as I said, you can get this 30% discount for um, the Black History Month. You have until the end of this month to get the 30% discount. The course is $997, and with the 30% discount, almost $300 savings with 30% off for $697. And you can We have 3 months, 6 months, and even a 12-month payment plan for those who may not be able to have it all up front right now. And that's not a problem. We work with you because we want to get you this information. Okay, and people are signing up and people are joining, and you don't want to miss getting your spot. And you can cash app or PayPal me at love the game 27, right? Or you can Venmo at Jeffrey Smith 745. Get in and get your spot before they get filled up so you don't miss it. But as I was sharing, as I want to go back to what I said I was listening to earlier this week on Shannon Sharp, Club Shay Shay, he had Johnny Manziel. And if you haven't heard it, you need to go out there and listen to it. He had Johnny Manziel, former quarterback at Texas A&M, former Heisman Trophy winner, okay, former pro athlete, okay, quarterback, um, who pretty much just self-destructed and hurt his own career. And it was just great to see that interview and to see this young man come full circle and admit his faults on how he even just hurt his own chances of being great, or continuing his greatness at the next level, because he had greatness. He was one of the best college players in college and won the Heisman Trophy, and then went on to get drafted to the Cleveland Browns and had a great opportunity to help turn that franchise around and really um, just continue to add to his legacy. But he ended up adding a negative to his legacy that is unfortunate. However, he just shared about all the different things that opportunities that he's had, and it was just wonderful to see that this young man has, I know he dealt with some depression and some different things that he shared about that and was very open and honest, and candid about it. And it was just a great interview with Club Shay Shay with Coach Shannon Sharp, or Unc Shannon Sharp, we call him, and just some great content from that interview. And I wish a lot of young people, or even if your parents, would catch that and listen to that, because it was just a great interview with this young man sharing some things that I've even been talking about on success for the athlete in your sport. And so he was just one example. But one thing that he just in that interview, that was a lot of things in that interview that I caught, and took some things from, and was just glad to um, see that he shared it and was open and honest. But one thing specifically that I want to share tonight that he talked about, because what do I call my podcast? I call it Love the Game 24/7, right? And Johnny Manziel talked about how he didn't love the game enough to put the work in to continue his success when he got to the NFL, when he got to the pros, right? He shared how he was just immensely talented and felt like um, his talent was just going to get him over, that he really didn't have to work at it much anymore like he needed to, that the little bit of work that he did put in was enough to maintain him, because, hey, it got me, you know, the little bit of work I was putting in was enough to get me the Heisman Trophy, right? And to make me a top draft pick to the Cleveland Browns, okay? And and NIL wasn't a thing when he was in, and that wasn't too long ago. He was, one, two, maybe 6, 7 years ago. Okay, NIL wasn't around, right? NIL just came about maybe just a few years ago. So, of course, the transfer portal was always around, but the NIL was not. And so, he even shared it. Man, if he was coming out right now, he would have loved it to be coming out of high school right now and going to college with his status that he had, compared to like what he had when he was coming out of high school and being one of the top quarterbacks, playing at Texas A&M. And he's a Texas boy, and there's a lot of money in Texas. He was a big name, like Kyler Murray. He's along with those guys, and he just shared that, hey, he didn't love the game enough, even when he was in high school and college, but because everything came so easy. And that's why I tell you, be careful with easy, okay? Because when things are easy, you know, and I shared on one of my earlier podcasts, your talent will take you places, but your character has to keep you. And that's pretty much what he shared. His character wasn't able to keep him, because his character allowed him to not love the game enough to put the work in to continue because they like I said, there are some guys, some young ladies that have all the measurables, they have everything. They really don't have to work hard to get people to recruit them because they're just that. They're, you know, she's her and he's him. When you're talking about their sport, they're that person, right? They're that person you have to look out for. They just got all the blessings physically, you know, but do they have the character? And that's what you have to parents. You have to make sure you build around your young person. You know, just as much as you effort you put in with them in their sport, you have to put that effort in with their character building. Are you doing that, young person, young lady, young man, parent? Are you making sure that as you raising your young athlete, your young lady, your young man, making sure that their talent can take them some places, but is their character able to keep them there? And he shared that, and that's why I said you have to love the game 24/7. There's a small window of opportunity to play your sport for a certain period of time. There's some sports you can play longer than other sports, but that window is going to close eventually, and you want to be able to build your brand. You are a brand. Build your legacy that even when you stop playing your sport, that because of the way your character was, not just the way you played the game. Because some people played the game and you may not even know who they are, some of them, but they played the game long and played it well enough because they did. They loved the game 24/7, but because they had such great character, they will find a job reporting, being a reporter for ESPN or Fox Sports or CBS or NBC or ABC, NFL Network or the Golf Channel or NHL or MLB, uh, WNBA, NBA. They're going to find, or whatever other career they decide to go into, because of their work ethic and their character. It took them other places beyond their sport when it was time to hang up the cleats, or hang up the ice, the blades, right, from hockey, or to hang up your tennis shoes, for basketball or tennis. There's like I said, there's some sports you can play much longer, but eventually that window is going to close and you got to do something else. But he shared that, and I thought that was so key. That was so important about what he said, that he didn't love the game enough. And you got to understand, young people, when you truly love the game, you will put the work in, right? You will put the work in and not get too caught up with all the stuff that come along with that, the success and the hype and the all the opportunities, right? When you truly love the game, you'll know, hey, this is my schedule. I got to put work in to stay at the top of my game, right? You know, there are some things I used to tell my son. There's some parties you can't go to. Not cause there's some you shouldn't go to, but not cause there's some parties that hey you need to show up sometimes and be there with your teammates and friends and whatnot. However, but there's some times where when you're like I told him when he was starting out, and every young man that I work with and coach, I just think I would tell him, man, there's some things you just can't do. Because you got to get your rest, you got to get your focus, right? You got to get your training, But when you truly love the game, it's not hard to put the work in that you need to put in, and you won't get caught up. And especially if you have a good, if mom and dad took the time to help train you and teach you right, or coaches, those important people around you aren't yes people because they're not afraid of losing, whatever, however they're putting you on, or you're putting them on. They're not going to just be yes people. They're going to be honest friends, genuine, that will tell you, no, hey, home girl, that ain't, no, you got too much. You got too much to lose, young man. You got too much to lose. And Manziel even talked about how he stopped becoming a good teammate. You know, um, he, guys didn't always like to be around him. You know, and so you got to have a great camp of people, that you can trust and would tell you the truth and be straight up with you. Okay, um, you can't be um, that type of teammate. You can't be that type of person where your character is not good, right? Um, you got to be more concerned about wanting to perform well, right? You got to be concerned about that and putting in that work, right? That's what you have to be more concerned about. Okay. And if you want to be great, you got to make sacrifices. You got to make great sacrifices. If I want to be great, then I got to make some great sacrifices. You see how that is? I can't say, okay, I want to be great, and then I don't put any great sacrifices in. Or I want to put small sacrifices in, but I still want to be great. And sometimes we see stuff happens, just like Johnny Manziel, where what happened to him. And you need to make sure you go out and listen to that interview um, with Unc Shannon Sharp and Manziel. Here we talking about a man that won the Heisman, the highest trophy that you can win in football, college sports, because you're considered the best player out of thousands of players around the country, around the world that play this game, right? You're considered that guy. And here he said he didn't love the game enough, but he won the Heisman, was a top first round draft pick. How could he not love it? It happened, folks. It happens. Okay, some things come easy to guys, and he's not the only one. He's not the first one. He's not going to be the only one. You hope that through this podcast with Love the Game 24/7 that some of what I'm sharing, and if you go and listen to that interview, that some of you all learn this and don't get messed up and get caught up. That was his whole point, is to share his story, so you don't have a his story of what he did, right? Um, and I'm not saying that you don't want the rewards or accolades, right, or the entourage, but what you want really is that ultimate reward of being recognized as a champion. That's what you want, and so that's why you have to make great sacrifices in order to be great. And even though you make great sacrifices, it doesn't mean you can't do great things. Take that great vacation when you want it. Go to some places where you've never been before, and you can take your family, right? And your friends and have good times. It doesn't mean you can't have good times. It just means that can't be too much of the norm. Some of that stuff will happen during that time, and even some of that stuff will happen later and more later. Because if you took care of business, you're going to be able to have the financial blessing and stability if you're smart and wise about how you handled your financial blessing that came through this. When you young lady get to play at the college level, and you have maybe some NIL opportunities. There's a lot of NIL opportunities for in gymnastics, wrestling, all the sports in college. There are NILs for every sport. Trust me, there are people who love the game, whatever sport that they love, work for major corporations that want people to. They want to give NIL opportunities to do that. They were um, wrestling, right? They were in golf on the golf team. They were on the gymnastic team, on the diving team, on the swim team, on the soccer team, men and women's soccer, boys and girls soccer. So there's a lot of NIL opportunities, and you don't want to miss your opportunities. You don't want to screw up or mess up your opportunity, like Johnny Manziel was saying. That all the stuff he got caught up doing because he just didn't love the game enough. And he stopped putting in work. He just thought, hey, it happened so easily when I was here, and I didn't put all that effort in, and so yeah, I don't have to do it now. And then you lose, and then you uh, disrespect your teammates, right? And so I just want to share that bit, man, about go out and look at that on Coach Shannon doing that interview, because you have to love the game enough, right? When you love something, um, you make sacrifices, right? You make sacrifices, and it doesn't mean that everything about it is, I have to like everything about it. There's some things that you may not like about your sport sometimes. Well, I know that to be true. I didn't always like to go work out. Okay. I didn't always like all of my teammates. Okay. But I love the game enough to tolerate or try to work um, and be sure I was a good teammate. Okay. But I say for the most part, I did like my teammates, but there were some that I probably sometimes, or that would frustrate you, get on your nerves. We're all living together. When you spend that much time with each other, you're going to get frustrated or irritated with each other sometimes. That's normal. That's life. There were some teammates I felt, man, he can be a jerk sometimes, but just make sure I'm not being a jerk, you know. And maybe some people felt like I was a jerk sometimes. I hope not. If I was, I apologize. Um, but you work through things, you work through relationships. You're not going to like everything about something you love. Okay, same thing like being married. You're in a relationship. There's some knucklehead things I've done as a husband. My wife doesn't always like it. But there's things that I do that I have to be sure that if there was something that I did and it was disrespectful and she tells me, then I need to correct that. And same with her, vice versa. If there was something I felt that I didn't like and she did it and was disrespectful or something, and we try not to do that. But if you do, then you got to do your best to work on it and not do it anymore. The same thing in anything you do when you have relationships with people, in your sport, in your work, on your regular job. If you're not playing a sport, whatever it is you may do, brothers and sisters, right? Um, you know, we love them. We don't always like things that we do to each other sometimes because sometimes we can be hurtful. But like Johnny Manziel did, he came out and shared and was open and honest. And man, I'm telling you, it was hats off to him. You know, um, for admitting that he didn't love the game enough to, and he missed his opportunity, and he won the Heisman, first round draft pick. And sometimes we wonder it can happen to the best of us, or the ones that we think that are the best of us, right? And so if it can happen to somebody like a Johnny Manziel, if you aren't careful, it's going to happen to you. And so this is the whole point. Parents, you got to start young. You got to start early. Okay, we can't let this stuff think it's going to work itself out. That's coaches got to be um, better, right? Honest. Just cause she's your best athlete don't mean you just let her get by with stuff. You know, and you are harder on other teammates. Because they may not be your best player. That's wrong. No, we hold everybody same accountability, equal accountability. I don't care how great you are. And if you are great, then we require more out of you, right? And you should be glad to do it and represent. And because you're getting um, a lot of accolades, but you can't do this stuff by yourself, right? Can't do this stuff by yourself. I don't care if you're a track athlete running an individual race. Somebody has to coach you. Some teammates have to push you in practice. They may not be as good as you, but they're right on your heels, and you're pushing each other to help each other be better. So you don't do anything by yourself. And so I just thought it was just refreshing to hear that young man how he talked about how LeBron James, who he signed up under, he was represented by um, LeBron James and Mav, LeBron's best friend, one of his best friends, agency representing athletes. Um, and he talked about how LeBron did everything he could, invited him uh, on outings with his family at times. Um, he would come hang out with him sometimes. LeBron was trying to do everything he could to get him focused, to get him to uh, you know understand his opportunity. Being a Heisman Trophy winner and a first round draft pick, and being back in being in Cleveland and having that mantle of turning that program, that franchise around, and hopefully getting them to a Super Bowl. And maybe it was too much, but he even talked about how he wouldn't listen to his parents sometimes when they were trying to get him on track, along with LeBron James. I'm talking about the King, right? NBA. He was a part of that group, and he just said how he even apologized to LeBron and Mav on doing an interview, um, and just said about all the great people, But like I said, even his parents. So that's why you need to listen to your parents, and parents. That's why you need to get with something like what I'm talking about with Love the Game 24 to help be a resource, to prevent these kinds of things from happening to your young person if they get an opportunity. And you don't have to win the Heisman and all that other stuff. You may get the opportunity to play at the next level and get you a scholarship. And then beyond that, and just having that opportunity is still great because you can change your uh, financial legacy of your family if you don't come from um, if you come from humble backgrounds, you don't come from a lot of money. So you got to be um, willing to listen. You got to have a good camp of people around you. And if you don't have that, that's where we Love the Game 24/7 wants to be a part of that, and we want to catch you early and help teach you about keeping you where your talent took you somewhere, but your character has to sustain you and keep you there and help you grow and get the success and be successful, right? Beyond just your sport. beyond whatever sport it is you're playing. And if you're blessed to go to the next level and play some pro ball, but whatever thing that or career you decide to go in, even after your sport in college. And so, parents, you gotta get um, you gotta get your kids around the resource. So that's why, like I said, I'm offering this 10-week digital course so we can dig deeper into things on how to help you get more exposure, how to help you market yourself in a way that's going to get you attention with your character, not just your talent, because you got to have both and some, right? And so you got to learn how to market more than just your talent, right? You got to learn how to market your talent in your sport, young lady, young man. You got to learn how to market your character, right? And you got to be able to show that character. Like I said, when these recruiters come on campus and they talk to that cafeteria person or that janitor person, right? Because of your character, your talent brought them there. And now they're coming to check out your character along with your academics to see if you're still uh, that girl that they want, that young man that they want to represent their university at the next level, at whatever division that is. One, Power Five, FBS or FCS, or Division Two, right? So they're looking to see who they want to represent their university, and then you got to see if you fit, right? You got to do your research, right? And so to learn exactly how to do all these things, who do you have doing? Ask yourself that question. Who do I have helping me do this? Right? If you're not getting it from your coaches, and some coaches, they may be able to help you to a certain point, but they may not understand at the level of what I'm talking about. They understand some of it. Exactly. They'll definitely be able to help you with some of it. Okay. But you got to be able to help yourself. You got to be able to help put yourself on. Right. You're the one with the talent. You're the one with the ability. Okay. Not the coaches. They want to get to know you. Yeah, they know the coaches. They want to meet the coach, and they want to meet your parents as well. They want to get to know your parents, but they want to get to know the athlete, right? At the college level. And if you're blessed to go to the pro level, they want to get to know the athlete. They want to get to know how much you love the game, which would tell them how much you're willing to put the work in and make great sacrifices so that you can be a great teammate, a great person um, at your position, right, on the field, right? So you gotta parents, you got to make some sacrifices as well, just like I did with my boys, um, and whatever they want to do, whether they play sports or not, whatever it is that they're good at. Because I had to do it for both my boys, the one that played sports and made sacrifices for the one that didn't play sports for what he wanted to do. They were both set up to be successful by their father because of the things that I missed and didn't have, and that I learned. Man, hey, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it even better. I'm going to lay it out for mine even better. And I wish there was a Love the Game 24/7 um, uh, program like what I'm doing that could have helped me out at a young age, right? And so that's why I'm doing that, because I know there are some people out there. There's some young boy, there's some young girl out there that's very talented, and some of them are missing um, exposing themselves or getting their name out there more. And there's some there's some a science to this thing, right? It's a process. There's some steps to this thing. And you got to be able to sell more than just your talent. You got to be able to sell your character, because if you got some good character, or you got a character, hey, that they're willing to work with, you may not totally be where they want you, but they feel like, hey, this is a young lady, this is a young man that looks like they're willing to learn and get better, in not just their sport, but in their character and their commitment, being on time to meetings and different things of that nature. And so we want to give them that opportunity. We want to give that young lady an opportunity to come play softball at our university. Get them to come play volleyball, right, and give that young man a chance to come play softball, okay, or field hockey or lacrosse. That young lady in field hockey and that young man in lacrosse, right? Football, basketball, whatever it is, baseball, track and field. So you got to be able to learn how to market yourself in a certain way and get these folks' attention, to get yourself put on. And so you can sign up for that. Like I said, my 10-week digital course at the 30% discount. The course is $997. The 30% discount is almost a $300 savings, and it will put you at. Um, it will definitely put you at $697 for uh, the 10-week digital course, right? It gives you also 2 additional weeks would it be just full Q&A with me to ask whatever your question you want after the 10 weeks are up. You'll have that um, 2 additional week um, to do that if you so choose. But like I said, you get me live every week, once a week for about an hour. Okay. And and like I said, I have 10 modules. Each module, I'm going to highlight three specific things in those modules, right? From how to write introduction letters and give you a template, and how to write your player profile in your sport. And you'll get a free template. You'll get a template that comes along with the course on that. You don't even have to design it. You can follow exactly, have it on the screen. What you'll get from being a partner with the 10-week digital course with Love the Game 24/7. You can have it on the screen. Then you can just go and type your information over mine, or have another screen up, Word document up, to follow the process, follow the steps from the template that I'll give you on your introduction letter and your player profile that you're going to send to those schools that you fit their measurements in your sport and at your position. Okay, we're going to learn those tricks. We're going to learn those things on who you should email, right? There's certain people you need to email and get that information to. There's certain people you need to put letters in the mail, okay? Um, and so you're going to just learn things of that nature. Talk about social media responsibility. There's three things that we'll talk about. Uh, there'll be three things that we'll talk about as it pertains to that, as social media and the importance of managing that well. My son tells me all the time, even in the NFL and even when he was in college, how they monitor those things to be sure that you're still someone of good character that they want representing them. Okay, and if you want NIL money, you got to show that character as well, because they don't want somebody, just anybody, promoting their product, and they're not a person of character and not just a talented person, right? And like I said, everybody makes mistakes, but you don't have to make mistakes that'll kill your opportunities. And Johnny Manziel shared a lot of that, how he just didn't listen to people who cared about him and was trying to explain to him. And, he got caught up in things that, drinking and uh, you know, being late to meetings. And like I said, not coming and putting in work in the weight room or on the field like you should, putting extra time in. You're a quarterback. They expect you're the CEO and you're the quarterback, right? Um, and so you got to learn. You're going to learn these things during a 10-week digital course. And as I said, sign up now. Don't miss your opportunity. Get the 30% discount off right now with the 10-week digital course with Coach Smith live, right? Once a week for an hour. And we're going to break down these modules, these 3 points in every module during these 10 weeks to help you and your young person, your young athlete, your young lady, your young man. We're going to help get them ready, make sure that they have the talent and character to take them places and keep them where they should be, right? And just launch them to even bigger and better things, beyond and after their sport. Um, and if they get a blessing to continue their sport, we're going to launch them to continue to be successful in that. If they get an opportunity beyond college, right? And so this is what the 10-week digital course is going to teach the student athlete and the parents, okay, or that person that guardian, or the person that you want to represent you, or even some coaches, right? Because I want to help some coaches as well, okay. And so, like I said, you can cash out me or PayPal me at Love the Game 27, or you can Venmo me at Jeffrey Smith 745 if you want to Venmo. So Love the Game 27 for Cash App and PayPal. Okay. And so get that in now, get your spot saved. Okay. And like I said, we have a 3 month, 6 month, and 12-month payment plan option for those who may not be able to pay it all right now. And as I said, every night after we end a module, within 24 to 48 hours, you're going to get that module sent to you in an email format as a PowerPoint and a PDF for you to have for life, for your access. So if you got younger kids, you got multiple kids, you'll be able to use this system, this program for all of your athletes in your household. Okay. Um, And so that's what this is all about. So be sure you get your spot now, guys. Get it. Let's get this thing going. First week of March. Let's get it going. It will be either a Tuesday or Thursday night at 6:30, and we're gonna kick that thing off for an hour and get you all the information that your young person, your young boy, your young girl needs. And we get ready, get all this stuff ready prior to camp, summer camps for your sport or AAU or whatever it is. We're gonna get you the information that you need to help your young person excel and improve their um, scholarship opportunities. Okay. So I appreciate you guys who joined me tonight for joining. Um, I look forward to seeing you again Wednesday night this week, 6:30, and next Saturday at 11:30. I will be next Saturday at 11:30. Spent some time with some family today, um, with my wife, and sometimes you got to do those things, right? Um, so, like I said, be a person of character and not just talent. And let's get this thing going. Let's get it on, right? Let's get this 10-week digital course going. And you land and get your spot saved now and before everything gets filled up, and don't want you to miss having this almost $300 savings from the original price of $997. So the price will drop to $697. Okay. Um, and so I appreciate it. I look forward to seeing you guys for the next conversation that we'll have. I'm going to talk about the 3 I's on Wednesday night. Don't want to miss that. The 3 I's. Hot topic for you student athletes out there, you young athletes. All right. And for you parents out there and coaches as well. All right. And so I look forward to sharing with you about the 3 I's. And I look forward to seeing who's committed and ready to sign up for this 10-week digital course, because you are looking for that help that you know that you're missing. Um, and so you have to ask yourself, man, what am I missing? And how can I get help? Well, help is here. Help has come. We love the game 24/7. All right. And so we'll be talking about that 3 I's on Wednesday night. I look forward to seeing you guys then. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your cousins, your sisters, your brothers, your teammates, and your coaches. They need to get on Love the Game 24/7 podcast with Coach Smith. Okay. Have a great rest of the weekend, and have a great Black History Month. Take care, guys.